Yasiel Puig may be from Cuba, but he's American enough to know how to play the race card. Is UCLA football finally recruiting high school students? You know, like every other college in the United States? And questions abound. Have the Kings made a trade? You think you would know, right? Good morning. I'm James. This is your daily dose of sports and snark for the greatest sports city in the world, Los Angeles. This is the faithful Angelenos morning report. It is February 13th, 2023. Pretty doggone good weekend, I thought. I didn't have a dog in the hunt on the Super Bowl. I didn't place a bet. I got nothing to complain about. Sorry, Philly. If you like the content that we put out about LA sports, clickety-clack the like button. Clickety-clack the subscribe button. There's a notifications bell. Hit that. It'll let you know we drop new content. Sharing is caring. Let people know we exist, and by all means, comment. By the way, I am broadcasting live, sort of, from Portland, Oregon, on my latest work assignment, trying to make money in Joe Biden's America. Before we get to the news and notes or the scoreboard, to give you a lay of the land of Portland, it goes like this. Catholic hospital, my hotel, strip club. Decisions, right? There were no games played involving LA teams yesterday. That Super Bowl thing got in the way. Meanwhile, today, the Lakers are actually up here in Portland at 7:30. LeBron James is questionable tonight with his bulky left ankle, and Buffalo's going to be playing the Kings at 7:30. Now, former Dodgers outfielder Yasiel Puig is alleging racial bias in regards to the feds probing his involvement in a sports gambling operation. Racial bias. This is a touchy subject, right? Anything involving race is. But I'm here to tell you, like, dude, can I call you Yasiel? If this were a traffic stop, I'd listen. If this was one of those things of, hey man, the cops pulled me over and they were like, sir, you match a description of someone we're looking for, we're just gonna run your ID. Yeah, I'd listen. This is a case involving the IRS, right? The IRS, this is not racial bias. This is the government jacking you up just because, right? If there's anything, you know, the least racist people on this planet, it's the IRS. And that is not a compliment because they're thieves. Thieves do not care what race you are. They don't care. They don't care about your race. The IRS does not care about how you identify. They just want to jack you for your money. I know white people who overpay the IRS so they don't get jacked even more. They're just like, you know what? Here's some interest. I don't want to deal with you guys. The IRS, the least racial people on the planet because they are stealing from you. By the way, if you happen to be working for the IRS, just remember the least racial part of I mentioned, not the jacking part, please. I got enough problems in my life. Yasiel, just cut the check and move on with your life, dude. Has the message gotten through to the UCLA football program? I don't know just yet. The website Bruin Report, they spent a lot of time dissecting Chip Kelly's approach to high school recruiting, or lack thereof. And I don't know if part of it is true. What they originally did at the start of the report was they tried to break down what they think is Chip Kelly's approach to recruiting high school prospects. And they're alleging that Chip Kelly intentionally avoids the 4 and the 5-star recruits for 3-star recruits, you know, who are not going to be divas, if you will, and people who can qualify for UCLA's stringent admission standards. So as a result, for the last 5 years, because they're only thinking about 3-star prospects, the Bruins have offered the fewest scholarships to high school players in the nation. I don't know if I agree with that. don't. I do know what I do agree with. Alleging Chip Kelly doesn't try. Oh, that part I definitely agree with. Because the 2023 recruiting class, the one that just finished, UCLA offered just 65 total recruits. That is the lowest in the country yet again. But what do we know that could mean hope on the horizon for UCLA? Well, for one, they have a 5-star recruit at quarterback coming in from Detroit to replace Dorian Thompson-Robinson. So that kind of puts that whole we never talked to Ford 5-star recruits, that kind of puts that one on a little bit of shaky ground. But so far, for the next recruiting class, the one in 2024, 36 high school students have been offered scholarships. That is not the lowest point or the lowest number offered by a college in this country. Also, Kelly is hiring younger assistant coaches now, presumably to hustle for recruits on UCLA's behalf. You have a receivers coach, Jerry Neuheisel, he's 30. The tight ends coach, Jeff Ferris, is 32. Quarterbacks coach Cody Whitfield is only 29. And I'm not trying to suggest that Ken Norton is a spring chicken out there, but there were a lot of people out there who thought that UCLA would benefit from having him recruiting as linebackers coach. So there is hope for UCLA not just simply being addicted to the transfer portal to try to build a team on the fly. We are getting some ridiculously confusing reports out of Arizona. Now that the Kings have signed Phoenix Copley to an extension as their goaltender for at least another year, it's kind of clear because of that move that the trade target for LA is left-handed defenseman. Now let's backtrack just a little bit. They do have one that was once highly regarded, who's now playing in the AHL in Ontario. But I've seen Tobias Bjornfot play in the NHL live. I've seen him play 3 times now with the Ontario Reign. And I'm here to tell you that guy was demoted to the Ontario Reign for a reason. So he's not necessarily the solution. The best left-handed defenseman that has been rumored for over a year to be on the trade market is Jakob Chychrun of Arizona. And the trade market went, the fire just went sky high on Saturday night. The Coyotes had a game and they scratched Jakob Chychrun. The reason the team reported was trade related. So everybody went nuts. Who he got traded to? Who did this guy get traded to? This was Saturday night. Who did he get traded to? We still don't know. There were 2 teams that were potential destinations that said, no, it's not us. That would be both Edmonton and Toronto. So everybody is assuming that on Saturday night, Jakob Chychrun was supposed to be on his way to Los Angeles. We still don't know where the hell that guy's going. We don't know if the trade fell through, for what trade was involved, what teams were involved. We have no bleeping clue. Now, the reason that the Kings may not be part of a trade for this left-handed defenseman is because Arizona doesn't have a lot of assets to volunteer, so they're trying to jack whatever team they do get into a trade with. The Kings have an elite defense prospect named Brandt Clark, who got a cup of coffee with the Kings at the start of the year, and he would still be part of the Kings if it weren't for the quirky way that the NHL builds its salary cap. If Clark had stayed, his contract would no longer be down here after 10 games. It would shoot so high that he would be over the salary cap, and therefore that's why you haven't heard from Brandt Clark since the first 10 games of the year. Arizona is asking for at least 2 prospects and a high draft pick or multiple first-round draft picks and a prospect. Kings can't offer multiple first-round draft picks either because they sent one to Minnesota for Kevin Fiala. So the point being is this. The Kings have denied sending their number 1 defense prospect back to Arizona in exchange for Jakob Chychrun. And in addition to that, they don't want to give up multiple first-round picks for Jakob Chetron. And we still don't know who Arizona made the trade with, if there's a trade at all. Arizona specifically said, we're holding this guy off the ice for trade-related reasons. We have no idea. We don't know. I don't know if this is something where you clown the Kings or you clown Arizona. It sounds like Arizona to me, but I'm just waiting to find out how this thing falls out. We mentioned that the Indianapolis Colts are likely hiring Eagles offensive coordinator Shane Steichen as head coach today. There are more reports saying that it's about this close to happening. If so, will the Rams actually welcome back defensive coordinator Raheem Morris? All along, I was assuming that was a fait accompli, that of all the Rams assistant coaches who were allowed to seek other job opportunities, the one who had his ticket rubber stamped back here was Morris. But should I be so confident about that? If you look at the stat points allowed, LA's defense was kind of mid for the last couple of years, even the year they won the Super Bowl. The Rams defense allowed the 15th fewest points, which is literally dead center in the NFL. That was when they won the Super Bowl. Last year, they plummeted all the way to 21st. Is Raheem Morris really running an elite defensive unit? Meanwhile, assistant head coach Thomas Brown is still getting interviewed by other teams. We know that he chatted things up with Tampa Bay and their magical quarterback-free roster last week. But he's also going to talk to Carolina on Thursday to be their offensive coordinator. Good luck scheming up plays for Sam Darnold, dude. Good luck. The Miami Dolphins have asked permission to interview Chargers secondary coach Tom Donatel. Donatel, he made a name for himself. He turned heads with how he helped both Derwin James and Asante Samuel in the last couple of years. And Patrick Beverley was waived by the Orlando Magic. That means that all the Magic got in their trade with the Lakers for Mo Bamba is a second-round pick. Okay. Beverley, by the way, is now a free agent. He's free to sign with whatever team he wants to. But you let me know what you think in the comments thread. Do you think Yasiel Puig is right to play the race card with a bunch of thieves at the IRS? Do you think that UCLA is actually getting the message? You've got to recruit high school students too. And by all means, if you enjoyed the content of Faithful Angelenos, subscribe to the channel. Love to see you every day. Thank you for watching. I'm James. We'll be back tomorrow. Faithful Angelenos is a Can Corte El Queso production. Take care.